Hi there, everybody. This is the second reading I'm doing today, so you'll be stocked up a bit. So all this stuff about Cambridge Analytica that's been dribbling out for months, and I don't profess to really be across it, in every way. So I'm more interested in the angle, how does this scandal come back to Brad Pascale, employed by Kushner, and to the Trump campaign. So there are many other legs to this story, as we know. But I really don't feel informed enough to have a background in it for you to give you the best reading on the broader picture. I may become more motivated, we'll see. But I think it's more interesting to really look at in the wash-up when all of this plays out, how does it come back to the Trump campaign? Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, so Brad Pascale and the Trump campaign. Brad Pascale. What is going to be revealed here? Let's have a look, shall we? Okay, so let's just revisit the basics. During the Trump campaign, the whiz kid's son-in-law, who then most people thought was a nice guy and sort of represented a way of lifting the 70-year-old candidate into the 21st century, and he put his hand up to do digital communications. And then he, Kushner, employed Brad Pascale. So this reading will bring together elements of the Brad Pascale story and how it connected to Cambridge Analytica and the use of data mining, which is not unique in the modern world, but how it was used in the Trump campaign. Well, not so much how it was used, how it will affect the Mueller investigation in relation to the Trump campaign and other things. So let's jump in here. We have the Two of Wands, wands representing action. So the figure holding the world in their hands. I think that's a very good card for the universe to have given us as a centerpiece to this reading. If you look at this card too, and I'm thinking in a way it may represent Pascale himself, but the globe, having the world in his hands, the world is actually quite small, if you see there. So that's the power of digital communications in relation to this reading. He really had the world in the palm of his hand. Unfortunately for Brad Pascale and Kushner, this backfired very badly, as we know, through watching the news. So here we go. This is where it begins to sour. Right. Over that, you have the Queen of Wands, who's looking more and more routinely like Rebecca Mercer. So, lest we forget, the Mercers funded Cambridge Analytica, and Bannon was an early CEO or executive of some sort on Cambridge Analytica. Of all the data firms, it was the one that went rogue earliest, deliberately went rogue. It wasn't just, some programmer who decided to make a few mil on the side. They went dirty from the beginning. Rebecca Mercer's got a lot to answer for, I might do another reading just on her. She's so boring as a person, but her influence is profound. Okay, Queen of Swords underneath this. Another woman. Or is this Rebecca Mercer? And I got the Queen of Wands mixed up with someone else. Food for thought. Queen of Swords. Okay, a woman with a very sharp mind. The Queen of Wands, to me, is more Mercer-like in that it's inherited wealth, inherited money. The Queen of Swords is infinitely smarter. It may, in fact, be some of the women in the judiciary that are going for this. I'm not entirely sure. I'm happy with that being the Queen, that being Mercer. So I'm not sure at this point who the Queen of Swords is. You guys often suggest really good things sometimes with these readings of who could be represented by that. But there's a slightly legal element to it and very much a sharp attitude. In the recent past conflict, are we surprised? No, because before these things become public, the word gets out, and that was Nix, or whatever his name is, the head of Analytica. He hasn't been sacked, he's been suspended. There would have been massive conflict. Imagine behind the scenes with Zuckerberg at Facebook, all the players would have been tearing their hair out and attacking each other and blaming each other. Okay. On top of this whole reading, money, 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 lots of money, never enough money, the King of Pentacles. I think, because I was asking about Pascale and Kushner, is Kushner old enough to be the King of Pentacles? He might have been trying to impress his father, the King of Pentacles, or his father-in-law, the Mad King. But I think there's a Kushner connection. The fact it's over everything. I'm asking about the Trump campaign. It could even be Trump himself in this. He would have been dazzled with the ideas of what Kushner was saying to him, going, don't worry, Donald, you know, I've got this communications thing in the bag. I'm across social media. I am so into all this. I can make it happen, and you'll probably make lots of money as well. So it's either Kushner. Don't think he's old enough. It's one of the fathers. I'm happy to stop there. Either Kushner's father who's trying to please, or the father-in-law. Okay, coming up fairly soon in this madness. Back to the beginning. I love the Apprentice card. And now another Apprentice person has come forward in the legal wranglings. I'm wondering if it's not something to do with the show, The Apprentice. Another interpretation could be that Kushner, not having personal skills, his skills are wearing a suit really well, having an expensive haircut, and talking up his latest ventures. He could have been considered an apprentice in this role, but it's coming up in the future. So I think it's more complications with The Apprentice, the show. Or maybe it means coming up soon, The Apprentice-like live TV quality of this current White House. So I'm leaning more towards that sort of gimmicky interpretation of The Apprentice rather than the traditional. Okay, what's happening up here, what they're worried about and how they see their situation in themselves. The Hierophant, the system is coming down on them like a ton of bricks. Now, I don't think we can all throw our hands in the air and say, nasty Facebook, nasty Cambridge, who would know that they use our data? Of course they use our data routinely. They've just been sprung in a political context. And they're going to have to deal. That's why I think this is more a legal card. This is more a legal card, this Queen of Swords. I think it's a really sharp woman lawyer or judge. This is the Hierophant. This isn't going away. The system is going to play this out, and some heads will roll. Acting over that and the King of Pentacles, the Seven of Cups, the illusory quality of money, being deluded by money, being talked into things. It's the con man card. So both Kushner's father and Trump are con men in their own way, and this is their card. What this reading is saying now much more clearly is they are going to get sucked into this. So I'm seeing this more as Trump and the system, yet again, as if Mueller or anyone else needs anything else on this man. Sorry, let me just share a little Lena thought with you. I think part of what's holding up the Mueller stuff, apart from the fact that he's very thorough and the whole nation and the future of America, it's not too big a thing to say, rests on him getting this series of investigations right. But I think what he's up against, as he interviews more people, just as one thing is ready to go and sort of put to bed, another witness's testimony over something else entirely comes in, and it all dovetails back into this mucky world of the Trump campaign. And don't tell me there wasn't a lot of cocaine fueling the campaign. I would be so surprised if that wasn't the case. But I think that's what Mueller's up against. More and more and more stuff keeps coming out. Okay, moving on. The atmosphere around Pascale and Kushner and stuff. Yes, these were the young Turks. The trade-off, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, the scales. Kushner's saying to him, you know, I can make you a kingmaker. If you handle this campaign, you'll be famous globally. And that happened. Pascale and Kushner are saying to Cambridge Analytica, you get this on us and you are so famous and so successful, and it's a bottomless pit of money. I think it's that wheeling and dealing, the atmosphere in which this happened. Can't get away from the money, 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 money. Okay. This is the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, remembering aces are really important because they represent the raw energy. Very powerful energy. But there's a storm cloud behind the hand of God with the money. And that's because the Hierophant and the Queen of Swords has caught up with them. God, the more I think about it, the more I want to see Rebecca Mercer wearing orange. You know, it's one thing to fund these things and say, oh, I didn't know. I just signed the check. No, you were involved in Breitbart and you were involved in this stinking, fetid sewer of muck that went on to distort the voting. Rebecca Mercer, look out. Ooh. Okay, so, sorry, back to the Ace of Pentacles. It's hard. These people are so despicable, it's hard to know where to go next. Okay, so in any event, all this G-up over money is coming undone. The storm cloud is brewing. Look out. Oh, here's Trump. So maybe this was Kushner's dad, or maybe it's reasserting Trump. Here he is. It's going to come back. Okay. Sorry, I'm being a bit garbled with this. Here's what I think. I still think this is Trump here, and this is Trump as president. This was candidate Trump, the King of Pentacles. I've got all the money in the world. I can do whatever the fuck I like. This is Emperor Trump, President Trump, who's now getting caught in the wash-up. Okay, quite a nice card in normal circumstances. Interpersonal relationships. But as I've said before, in a Trump reading, I see this as the Trump lion hovering over certain personal relationships. So we were talking about Kushner and Pascale with Trump hovering. That would explain why he's turned up in this capacity and why the Hierophant, the system, is very interested in what he knew, in what Trump knew about this when. That would make sense to me. Okay, Justice. We had the Queen of Swords, who I'm reading in this as a female, very high level female attorney operating. This is decision time and the symbolic nature of blind justice. So I take these two cards together. It's at a crossroads of a decision. I think what the Queen of Swords is discussing with all the other legal eagles is, which way do we take this? Do we take this as an act that goes back to the Russians? Do we take this as an act that is treasonous to the United States because it affected the elections? Do we go for Trump on this, or do we not bother because Mueller's got enough on him? Is it enough to void the election? All these legal questions. That's why I think this came up in the root of the reading. I think at this stage, there's not much more to be said in terms of it's not until the legals decide either which way they're going to emphasise the legal case or split it into 2, 3, 4, 5 separate cases, because there are personal privacy issues, there's going to be class actions on Facebook, there's going to be the repercussions on social media, there's going to be lots and lots of legal stuff, some of which will be interesting and some that will be overwhelmingly dull. But it's all important, and it's all important in the big thing. So to bring it back to a summing up, I think it is going to, yet again, come back to Trump. It's just another nail in the coffin. It'll be interesting how the Republicans react to this or don't react. It's like they've drunk the Kool-Aid, isn't it, really? They're not there. They're not functioning. Congress isn't functioning. Congress is like a parrot cage at the zoo. There isn't an independent thought going on in the Congress. This is really scary. You know, at the other levels, you all expect it to be a bit partisan and self-serving. But Congress is meant to carry the weight and responsibility of the Constitution and uphold that above all else. And these people, what are they doing? Oh my God. Anyway, guys, those are my 2 readings for today, and I'll be back to you very soon. I don't like leaving you more than a couple of days. I'm sorry, things have been happening. So I'm going to upload this. So all the best. See you soon. Bye-bye.